The sun was beginning to set over the small village of Imuna. The sky turned orange and pink as the day slowly came to an end. 7-year-old Kofi was playing with his old football near his uncle's compound. The ball was made of old cloth and plastic bags tied together with rope. It was not much, but it was his favorite toy. Kofi kicked the ball hard, trying to score a goal between two mango trees. But he kicked it too hard. The ball rolled away and went behind his Uncle Tun's hut. Kofi ran after it, his bare feet making soft sounds on the dusty ground. When he reached the back of the hut, he bent down to pick up his ball. That was when he heard voices coming from inside. The window was open and the voices were clear. One voice belonged to his Uncle Tund. The other voice was older and rough, like someone who smoked too much. Kofi stood very still. He knew he should not listen to other people's conversations, but something in his uncle's voice made him freeze. There was something dark and serious in the way Uncle Tund was speaking. "You are completely sure this will work?" Uncle Tund asked. Yes, I am sure," the old man replied. "I have been making medicine for 40 years. This poison comes from the roots of a special tree deep in the forest. When someone eats it, they will become sick like they have malaria. They will have fever and pain. In 3 days they will die. Nobody will know it was poison. Everyone will think it was just sickness." Kofi's heart started beating very fast. Poison? Someone was talking about poison? His small hands gripped the football tightly. "My brother Bayo has everything," Uncle Tund said. His voice was full of anger and pain. "He has the successful palm wine business. He has the best farmland that our father left for him. Everyone in the village respects him. They listen to him. They ask for his advice. But what about me? What do I have? Nothing. I work hard every day, but I am still poor. I struggle to feed my family while he grows richer and richer." "That is not fair," the medicine man said in a sly voice. "You are his younger brother. You should also have good things. When our father died, he left most of the land to Bayo because he was the firstborn son," Uncle Tund continued. "That is our tradition. But it is not fair. I am also his son. Now Bayo has everything and I have almost nothing. People laugh at me behind my back. They say I am the poor brother of a rich man." Kofi felt confused. He knew his uncle sometimes seemed sad or angry, but he never knew why. Now he was hearing terrible things. His uncle was jealous of his father. "After your brother is gone, everything will change," the medicine man said. "You are his only brother. You are his closest family. When he dies, you will inherit his land, his business, everything. His wife and children will have to depend on you. You will finally have what you deserve." "When can you prepare the poison?" Uncle Tund asked. "Bring me 3 goats tomorrow morning," the medicine man replied. "I will prepare everything. The family feast is on Saturday, yes? That is perfect. There will be so much food and so many people. You can put the poison in his food easily. No one will notice anything." Kofi felt like he could not breathe. The family feast. That was the big celebration they were planning for his grandfather's remembrance ceremony. It was only 2 days away. All the family would gather to honor his grandfather who had died 2 years ago. There would be music, dancing, and lots of food. And Uncle Tund was planning to poison Papa at that feast. The boy's legs started shaking. He wanted to run, but his feet felt heavy like stones. His Papa. His kind, strong Papa who carried him on his shoulders and told him stories at night. His Papa who taught him how to climb palm trees and who always made him laugh. Someone wanted to kill his Papa. Tears filled Kofi's eyes, but he blinked them away quickly. He had to be brave. He had to do something. Finally, his legs started working again. He dropped his football and ran. He ran as fast as he could, his feet flying over the dusty path. His breath came in quick gasps. His mind was racing even faster than his feet. What should he do? Should he tell his mother? Should he tell his father? Would anyone believe him? He was just a small boy. Adults did not always listen to children. They might think he was making up stories or that he had heard wrong. When Kofi reached his family compound, he stopped suddenly at the entrance gate. His eyes went wide with shock at what he saw. There in the courtyard, under the big palm tree, sat his father and Uncle Tund together. They were sitting on low wooden stools facing each other. His father was breaking cola nut, which was a sign of friendship and respect. Uncle Tund was smiling and laughing at something Papa had said. They looked like the best of friends, like loving brothers. Kofi's mother Ada came out of the house carrying a calabash of fresh palm wine. She was smiling too, happy to see the two brothers together. She poured the wine into 2 cups and gave one to each man. "To family," Papa Bayo said, raising his cup. "To family," Uncle Tund replied, raising his cup too. They drank together and Uncle Tund laughed again, throwing his head back. Kofi felt sick in his stomach. How could Uncle Tund sit there, laughing and drinking with Papa, when he was planning to kill him? How could he smile and pretend to be a good brother when he had such evil in his heart? Kofi, his father called out when he saw the boy standing at the gate. Come here, my son. Come and greet your uncle properly. Kofi's feet felt like they were stuck in mud. He walked slowly forward, each step feeling heavy. When he reached the two men, he did what was expected. He knelt down on the ground to greet Uncle Tund in the traditional way, showing respect to his elder. Uncle Tund placed his hand on Kofi's head, giving him a blessing. Good boy, his uncle said warmly. You are growing so tall and strong. Kofi wanted to scream. He wanted to pull his father away and tell him everything. But the words were trapped in his throat like a stone. He looked up at his father's smiling face, then at his uncle's false smile, and felt completely helpless. That night, Kofi lay on his sleeping mat, but he could not close his eyes. His little sister Amma was sleeping peacefully beside him, breathing softly. Through the thin walls of their home, he could hear his parents talking and laughing quietly. His mother's voice was gentle and his father's voice was deep and warm. They sounded so happy, so safe. But Kofi knew the truth. In 2 days his father might be dead. The thought made his chest feel tight and his eyes fill with tears. He turned his face to the wall so no one would hear him cry. When morning came, the rooster crowed loudly. Kofi had barely slept at all. His eyes were red and his head hurt. At breakfast, his mother served him fried plantains and beans, but he could not eat. He just pushed the food around on his plate with his fingers. Kofi, what is wrong with you? His mother Ada asked. She touched his forehead to see if he had a fever. You are not eating. Are you sick? This was his chance. Kofi took a deep breath and looked at his mother. Mama, I need to tell you something very important. It is about Uncle Tund. What about him? His mother was busy crushing pepper in her stone mortar. The grinding sounds were loud and rhythmic. She was not really paying attention to him. Mama, please listen, Kofi said urgently. Uncle Tund wants to hurt Papa. I heard him yesterday. He was talking to a medicine man about poison. They are going to put poison in Papa's food at the feast on Saturday. His mother stopped grinding. She turned to look at him with a frown on her face. For a moment, Kofi thought she believed him. But then she shook her head and laughed. Kofi, what kind of nonsense are you talking? She said. Tund is your father's brother. They are family. Brothers sometimes argue about small things, yes. Maybe about farm boundaries or who should pay for something. But that is normal. You cannot go around saying such terrible things about family. But Mama, I really heard him. He was talking about poison from a tree and... Enough. His mother's voice became sharp and angry. I will not hear any more of this foolishness. You children spend too much time listening to scary stories from the old people in the village. Your imagination is playing tricks on you. Uncle Tund is coming to our feast. He is family. We must show him respect. Now finish your food and stop talking such wickedness. Kofi felt tears coming to his eyes, but he forced them back. His mother did not believe him. She thought he was making up stories. After breakfast, Kofi went to find his father. Papa Bayo was in the palm grove behind their compound. He was checking the clay pots that were tied to the palm trees to collect the sweet palm wine. His father was a tall man with strong arms and a kind face. When he smiled, his whole face became warm and friendly. Papa, Kofi called out. Yes, my son? His father was counting the pots and writing numbers in a small book. He looked busy and distracted. Papa, I need to tell you something very, very important. It is about Uncle Tund and... Not now, Kofi, his father said, still looking at his book. Can you not see I am busy? The village elders are coming this afternoon. We have a big meeting about building a new school for the children. I must prepare everything. We will talk later, I promise. But Papa, this is really important. It is about... Later, Kofi, his father said more firmly. Go and help your mother or go play with your friends. I have much work to do. Kofi walked away slowly, his shoulders drooping. His father was too busy to listen. Nobody would believe him. He was just a small boy and adults never took small boys seriously. The day passed slowly. Kofi tried to talk to his father again in the evening, but Papa was in meetings with the village elders until it was dark. By the time his father came home, Kofi was supposed to be asleep on his mat. But Kofi was not asleep. He lay in the darkness, staring at the ceiling. His mind was racing with thoughts. Tomorrow was Friday. The day after tomorrow was the feast. If nobody would believe his words, he needed to find another way. He needed proof. Real proof that everyone could see. An idea began to form in his mind. It was dangerous and scary, but it was the only way. He would have to get the poison package himself. He would have to catch Uncle Tund with the evidence. When the sun rose the next morning, Kofi told his mother he was going to play with his friend Olu, who lived on the other side of the village. His mother was busy preparing things for tomorrow's feast, so she just waved him away without asking many questions. Instead of going to Olu's house, Kofi ran to Uncle Tund's compound. He hid behind a large hibiscus bush with red flowers. The bush was thick and gave him good cover. He sat there very still, waiting and watching. Mosquitoes bit his arms and legs, but he did not move. His stomach growled with hunger, but he stayed in his hiding place. The sun climbed higher in the sky. It got hotter and hotter. Kofi was sweating and thirsty, but he kept watching his uncle's hut. Finally, after what felt like many hours, Uncle Tund came out of his hut. He looked around carefully as if making sure no one was watching. Then he walked quickly down the path toward the forest. Kofi waited a few seconds, then followed. He moved quietly from tree to tree, keeping his distance. He had learned how to move silently when he played hunting games with the other village children. Now those skills were helping him in a real and dangerous situation. Uncle Tund walked deep into the forest, following a small path that led to the stream. Kofi followed carefully, staying hidden behind trees and bushes. His heart was pounding so hard he thought Uncle Tund might hear it. At a clearing near the stream, Uncle Tund stopped. A few minutes later, the old medicine man appeared. He was carrying a small bag. The two men talked quietly, but Kofi could not hear their words from where he was hiding. Then Kofi saw it happen. The medicine man reached into his bag and pulled out a small package. It was wrapped in banana leaves and tied with brown raffia string. The medicine man handed the package to Uncle Tund. In return, Uncle Tund gave the medicine man a small cloth pouch. When the medicine man opened it, Kofi could see coins inside. Money. Uncle Tund was paying for the poison. The morning of the feast arrived with bright sunshine and a cool breeze. Kofi woke up early, his stomach tight with fear and nervousness. Today was the day. Today he would have to do something that would shock everyone. Today he would save his father's life or fail trying. His mother Ada had been cooking since before sunrise. The whole compound smelled wonderful. There was jollof rice cooking in a huge pot over the fire. There was goat meat stewing in rich pepper soup. There were fried plantains, pounded yam, and egusi soup with stockfish. The women of the family had come early to help with the cooking, and their voices filled the air with laughter and gossip. Kofi had hidden the real poison package under his shirt, tucked into the waistband of his shorts. He had wrapped it carefully in a piece of cloth so it would not break or leak. The package felt heavy against his skin like it was burning him. He knew what was inside could kill a man. He knew it was dangerous to carry it, but he needed the proof. By mid-morning, relatives started arriving. Kofi's grandmother came from the neighboring village with his cousins. His aunties arrived wearing their best wrappers with beautiful patterns. The men came in their finest agbadas, the long flowing robes that showed respect for the occasion. Everyone brought something: bottles of drinks, bags of rice, live chickens tied by their legs. Uncle Tund arrived early. He came with a big smile on his face, carrying a crate full of beer and soft drinks. He greeted everyone warmly, shaking hands with the men and hugging the women. He picked up little children and made them laugh. He looked like the perfect uncle, the perfect brother. But Kofi knew the truth. Kofi knew what evil was hiding in his uncle's heart. Music started playing from a speaker someone had brought. It was high-life music with guitars and drums that made people want to dance. The women began moving their hips and shoulders to the rhythm while they finished the cooking. The men gathered under the big mango tree in the compound, drinking palm wine and talking loudly about village politics and farming. Kofi tried to act normal, but his whole body was tense. He played with his cousins, but he was not really paying attention to their games. His eyes kept following Uncle Tund everywhere. He watched his uncle laugh and joke with Papa. He watched his uncle help carry chairs and arrange the sitting area. He watched and waited. Finally, it was time to eat. Elder Chuma, the oldest man in the village, stood up to say the prayers. Everyone became quiet and bowed their heads. The elder poured libation on the ground, calling on the ancestors and asking for their blessings. He thanked them for the food and asked them to protect the family. Amen, everyone said together when he finished. Now it was time to serve the food. The women brought out large bowls and trays piled high with rice and meat. They brought calabashes of soup and baskets of pounded yam. Everyone began serving themselves, talking and laughing. But there was one special plate. This was the tradition. The honored eldest, the head of the family, received the first and best plate. It was served separately with the biggest pieces of meat and fish. Today that honored plate was for Papa Bayo. He was the eldest son of the late patriarch. He sat in the place of honor on a carved wooden chair. Mama Ada prepared the special plate in the kitchen area. She piled it high with the best jollof rice, the biggest piece of goat meat, smoked fish and fried plantains. She arranged it beautifully the way an honored guest's plate should look. Kofi's heart started beating faster. This was it. This was the moment Uncle Tund had been waiting for. This was when the poison would be used. "Let me take it to him," Uncle Tund said suddenly, appearing beside Mama Ada. "It would be my honor to serve my elder brother today." The women smiled at this gesture. "How sweet," one of the aunties said. "See how Tund respects his brother. That is how family should be." Mama Ada handed the plate to Uncle Tund with a warm smile. "Thank you, Tund. That is very kind of you." Uncle Tund took the plate and began walking toward Papa Bayo. But first, he passed through the kitchen area where many people were moving around, serving food and drinks. For just a second, he stopped near a corner where no one was looking directly at him. Kofi was watching. He saw everything. He saw his uncle's hand move quickly to his pocket. He saw something small transfer from his uncle's hand to the plate of food. It happened so fast that anyone who was not watching carefully would have missed it. But Kofi was watching. He saw it all. Uncle Tund continued walking toward Papa with the plate, a big smile on his face. "Brother," he called out. "Your special plate, prepared with love." Papa Bayo smiled warmly at his younger brother. He was about to reach for the plate. Everyone was watching this moment of brotherhood and respect. The music had stopped. People were smiling. Then Kofi moved. The boy ran forward faster than he had ever run before. He ran straight toward his uncle. Before anyone could understand what was happening, Kofi grabbed the plate right out of Uncle Tund's hands. Some of the rice spilled onto the ground. "Kofi," his mother shouted. "What are you doing? Have you gone mad?" But Kofi did not stop. While everyone stared in shock at this disrespectful behavior, the boy lifted the plate and took a huge bite of the rice. He chewed quickly and swallowed. Then he took another big bite of the meat. The compound went completely silent. This was terrible behavior. A child did not grab the elder's special plate. A child did not eat before the honored guest. Everyone was frozen in shock and anger. Then Kofi screamed at the top of his lungs. "Daddy, your brother wants to kill you." The silence became even deeper. You could hear a pin drop. Everyone stared at the little boy. Kofi reached into his waistband and pulled out the package wrapped in banana leaves. He held it high above his head so everyone could see it. "This is poison," he shouted. "Uncle Tund got this poison from a medicine man. He was going to put it in Papa's food. I heard him planning it. I followed him and watched him buy it. I switched the packages, but I saw him put something on the plate just now." Uncle Tund's face changed completely. The smile disappeared. His eyes went wide with shock and fear. "That is a lie," he shouted. "The boy is lying. He is making up stories." But then Uncle Tund made a mistake. Instead of staying calm, he lunged toward Kofi, trying to grab the package from the boy's hands. His face was twisted with panic and anger. Papa Bayo moved fast. He caught his brother's arm in midair, holding it tight. "Tund," Papa said in a quiet, dangerous voice. "What is my son talking about?" The compound exploded into chaos. Everyone started shouting at once. Women screamed. Men jumped to their feet. Children began crying, confused and frightened by the sudden violence and angry voices. Uncle Tund struggled against his brother's grip, trying to reach Kofi. His face was red with anger and fear. "Let me go," he shouted. "That boy is telling lies. Wicked lies." But Papa Bayo held his brother's arm firmly. His father was strong from years of climbing palm trees and doing farm work. Uncle Tund could not break free. Elder Chuma stood up from his chair. "Everyone be quiet," the old man commanded. His voice was still powerful despite his age. "Be quiet now." Slowly the shouting died down. People were still talking in whispers, but at least they stopped yelling. The small children were taken to the back of the compound by some of the women. This was not something for children's eyes and ears. "Bayo, release your brother," Elder Chuma said. "Let us handle this properly." Papa Bayo let go of Uncle Tund's arm, but he stood close, ready to grab him again if needed. Other men from the village moved closer too, forming a circle around Uncle Tund. He was trapped. There was nowhere for him to run. Elder Chuma turned to Kofi. The boy was shaking, still holding the poison package high above his head. "Child, come here," the elder said gently. Kofi walked forward on trembling legs. His mother tried to reach for him, her face full of confusion and fear, but Papa Bayo stopped her with a look. Now tell us everything, Elder Chuma said. Speak slowly and clearly. Tell us exactly what you heard and what you saw. Kofi took a deep breath. His voice shook at first but then became stronger. He told them everything. He told them about playing near Uncle Tun's hut 3 days ago. He told them about overhearing the conversation with the medicine man. He described the poison from the tree roots that would look like malaria. He told them about trying to warn his mother and father, but no one would listen. Then he told them how he followed Uncle Tun to the forest. How he watched the exchange of money and poison. How he snuck into Uncle Tun's hut and switched the packages. How he kept the real poison as proof. And finally, how he watched Uncle Tund add something to Papa's plate just moments ago. When Kofi finished speaking, there was complete silence. Everyone turned to look at Uncle Tund. It is all lies, Uncle Tund said, but his voice was weak now. Sweat was running down his face even though the day was not that hot. Why would I want to hurt my own brother? The boy has an active imagination. He probably heard some story and confused it with reality. Then explain this package, Elder Chuma said, taking the banana leaf bundle from Kofi's hands. He carefully unwrapped it. Inside was a small clay pot sealed with beeswax. What is this? I do not know, Uncle Tund said. I have never seen it before. The boy probably found it somewhere and made up this story. Kofi said he switched packages. Papa Bayo spoke for the first time. His voice was hard and cold. Tund, empty your pockets. Uncle Tund's eyes went wide. What? No. You cannot treat me like a criminal. Empty your pockets now, Papa Bayo repeated. Or these men will empty them for you. The men in the circle moved closer. Uncle Tund looked around wildly but there was no escape. With shaking hands he reached into his pocket. He pulled out a few coins, a handkerchief, and then another small package wrapped in banana leaves. Elder Chuma took this package too and opened it. Inside was the same kind of clay pot, sealed the same way. But when he opened it, there was only crushed bitter leaves inside. The fake package that Kofi had made. So you did have a package in your pocket? Elder Chuma said quietly. A package wrapped exactly like the one the boy had. Why would you carry such a thing to a family feast? Uncle Tund's shoulders slumped. The fight seemed to go out of him. He looked at the ground and said nothing. Someone go and fetch the medicine man who lives by the forest stream, Elder Chuma commanded. His name is Obed. Bring him here immediately. 2 young men ran off quickly. The wait felt like forever. Everyone stood in uncomfortable silence. Mama Ada was crying quietly, and some of the other women tried to comfort her. Kofi's grandmother held the boy close, stroking his head and murmuring prayers of protection. Papa Bayo just stood there, staring at his younger brother. His face showed no emotion, but his hands were clenched into tight fists. After about 20 minutes, the 2 young men returned, dragging an old man between them. It was the medicine man. He looked frightened and angry at being forced to come. What is this about? Obed demanded. Why do you drag me here like a thief? Elder Chuma held up the clay pot that Kofi had brought. Old man, do you recognize this? The medicine man's eyes flickered to Uncle Tund, then back to the pot. I do not know what that is. Do not lie, Elder Chuma said sternly. A child's life may have been saved today, but we need the truth. This child says you sold poison to this man. Is it true? The medicine man looked around at all the angry faces. He looked at Uncle Tund, who was staring at the ground. Finally he sighed. Yes, he said quietly. It is true. He came to me 5 days ago. He said he wanted poison that would look like natural sickness. He paid me well. Gasps went around the circle. Even though Kofi had told them everything, hearing it confirmed by the medicine man made it real. This was not a child's imagination. This was actual murder that had almost happened. What kind of poison is it? Elder Chuma asked. It is made from the roots of the ackee tree mixed with other things, Obed said. Just a small amount in food would kill a man in 3 days. It causes fever and pain like malaria. Nobody would suspect poison. Mama Ada let out a loud cry and collapsed. Several women rushed to help her. The compound was in chaos again. Enough. Papa Bayo's voice cut through the noise like a knife. Everyone stopped and looked at him. He walked slowly toward his younger brother. Uncle Tund finally looked up, and there were tears running down his face. Why? Papa Bayo asked simply. Why would you do this? We are brothers. We shared the same mother's milk. We played together as children. Why? Uncle Tund fell to his knees. His whole body was shaking as tears poured down his face. For a long moment he could not speak. He just knelt there in the dust, crying like a child. Everyone watched in silence, waiting. Finally, Uncle Tund found his voice. I am sorry, he whispered. I am so sorry, my brother. That is not an answer, Papa Bayo said, his voice still cold. I asked you why. Uncle Tund wiped his face with his hands. Jealousy, he said, his voice breaking. I have been jealous of you for so many years. When our father died, he left you the best land because you were the firstborn. That is our tradition, I know. But it felt unfair. You got everything and I got so little. He paused, taking a shaky breath. Then you built a successful business with the palm wine. People respect you. They come to you for advice. They speak your name with honor. But me? I struggle every day. My farm barely produces enough to feed my family. I have debts I cannot pay. People look at me with pity. They say, there goes the poor brother of Bayo. Do you know how that feels? Papa Bayo said nothing. His face was like stone. My wife's brothers mock me, Uncle Tund continued. They say I am useless. They say I am a failure. They ask why I cannot be successful like my older brother. Every day I hear this. Every day the jealousy grew inside me like a poison. I started hating you even though you never did anything wrong to me. I hated you for being successful. I hated you for being respected. I hated you for having everything I wanted. So you decided to kill me, Papa Bayo said flatly. I was desperate. Uncle Tund cried out. I thought if you were gone I would inherit everything. I would finally have land, money, respect. I would finally be somebody important. The jealousy made me crazy. It made me think evil thoughts. I'm sorry, Bayo. I'm so sorry. I was wrong. I was terribly wrong. Elder Chuma stepped forward. This is a very serious matter, he said. We are talking about attempted murder. Murder of a brother by his own brother. This is one of the worst crimes in our tradition. We should call the police, someone in the crowd said. Let him go to prison for many years. No, Elder Chuma said, raising his hand. This is a family matter. This is a village matter. We will handle it our way, the traditional way. We will call a council meeting. The next morning, the village council gathered under the great Irako tree in the center of the village. This tree was over 200 years old. Its branches spread wide, giving shade to everyone below. This was where all important village matters were discussed and decided. The elders sat in a semicircle on wooden stools. The men of the village stood in rows behind them. The women sat on mats to one side. Uncle Tund knelt in the center of the circle, his hands tied in front of him. The medicine man Obed was also there, also kneeling, also tied. Elder Chuma spoke first. We are here because of a terrible thing that almost happened. A brother tried to kill his brother. If not for the bravery of a small child, we would be mourning a death today instead of delivering justice. He turned to Uncle Tund. Tund, son of our late chief, you have admitted your crime. You have confessed to planning murder. You paid for poison. You were about to use it. What do you have to say? I have nothing to say except that I am sorry, Uncle Tund said quietly. I was blinded by jealousy and greed. I deserve whatever punishment you give me. The elders spoke among themselves for a long time. People in the crowd also talked in low voices, discussing what should be done. Some wanted harsh punishment. Others felt sorry for Uncle Tund because jealousy could make any man do foolish things. Finally, Elder Chuma announced the decision. This is what we have decided. First, the medicine man Obed will be banished from this village forever. He will leave today and never return. Any man who makes poison to kill others has no place in our community. Two men immediately grabbed Obed and began dragging him away. He did not protest. He knew he was lucky not to face worse punishment. As for you, Tund, Elder Chuma continued, you will also leave this village. But your banishment is for 5 years, not forever. You will go and work in another place. You will learn to stand on your own feet without comparing yourself to your brother. Every month you will send half of whatever money you earn back here. That money will go to your brother Bayo as restitution for what you tried to do. Uncle Tund nodded, accepting the punishment. Tears were running down his face again. After 5 years, if you have shown that you are truly sorry and truly changed, you may return, Elder Chuma said. That is our judgment. Everyone expected the matter to be finished. But then Papa Bayo stood up. Elders, may I speak? Of course, Elder Chuma said. Papa Bayo walked to the center of the circle. He stood in front of his kneeling brother and looked down at him for a long moment. The whole village held its breath, wondering what he would say. Tund, Papa Bayo said, and his voice was softer now, not cold anymore. You are my brother. We came from the same womb. We played together as children. Yes, you did a terrible thing. Yes, you almost killed me. But I forgive you. Gasps went around the circle. Uncle Tund looked up in shock, his mouth open. I forgive you, Papa Bayo repeated. Not because what you did was okay. It was not okay. It was evil and wrong. But I forgive you because you are my brother, and that means something. Family means something. He turned to address the whole village. When Tund returns in 5 years, if he has truly changed, I will help him. I will give him land to farm. I will teach him my palm wine business. I will help him build a good life. This is my promise before all of you. Uncle Tund broke down completely, sobbing into his hands. Thank you, he cried. Thank you, my brother. I do not deserve this mercy. No, you do not, Papa Bayo agreed. But mercy is not about what we deserve. It is about choosing to heal instead of holding on to anger. 3 days later, there was another gathering under the Irako tree. This time it was a celebration. Uncle Tund had already left the village to begin his 5 years of exile and work. The medicine man was gone too. Now it was time to honor the real hero of the story. Little Kofi stood in the center of the circle, wearing new clothes that his parents had bought for him. He felt shy with everyone looking at him, but he stood straight and tried to be brave. Elder Chuma placed his hands on the boy's head. This child showed courage that many grown men do not have. He saw evil and did not turn away. He tried to warn others, and when they would not listen, he found another way. He risked his own life by eating the poison food to prove the truth. Today we give him a special title. The elder raised his voice so everyone could hear. From this day forward, this child shall be known as Kofi, the brave heart. Let everyone remember that courage can come in small packages. The whole village cheered and clapped. Kofi's face broke into a huge smile. His mother cried happy tears. His little sister Amma jumped up and down with excitement. That night, after all the celebrations were over, Kofi sat with his father under the stars. They were alone in the quiet compound, just the two of them. Papa, Kofi said softly, I do not understand something. What is it, my son? Uncle Tund tried to kill you. He planned it carefully. He bought poison. Why did you forgive him? Are you not angry? Papa Bayo was quiet for a moment, thinking about how to answer. I am angry, he finally said. I would be lying if I said I was not hurt by what my brother did. But Kofi, I learned something important in my life. Anger and hatred are like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. It only hurts you. He put his arm around his son's shoulders. You showed great courage, Kofi. You saved my life. But let me teach you something else. True strength is not just about being brave when facing danger. True strength is also about knowing when to forgive. Forgiveness does not mean what your uncle did was okay. It means I choose not to let his evil action poison my heart the way jealousy poisoned his. Kofi thought about this. Will Uncle Tund really change? I do not know, Papa Bayo admitted. Maybe he will not. That is his choice to make. But I have made my choice. I choose to give him a chance. I choose to hope for healing instead of revenge. That is what our ancestors taught us. That is what makes us human and not animals. Kofi leaned against his father's chest. I hope he changes, Papa. I hope in 5 years he comes back as a good uncle. So do I, my son, Papa Bayo said, looking up at the stars. So do I. And in that quiet moment, under the vast African sky, both father and son understood that the story was not really about poison or attempted murder. It was about two brothers torn apart by jealousy, a brave child who saved a life, and a family that chose healing over hatred. It was about courage and forgiveness, the two pillars that hold communities together. The story would be told in the village for many years to come. And whenever anyone asked what happened to Uncle Tund, people would smile and say, wait and see. 5 years is a long time. People can change if they truly want to.